Generation Snowflake, the overprivileged kids of today. Soft. No work ethic. They don't know they're born, these young uns. That's just a selection of the things said about our young adults, those now in their 20s or 30s. Other common things said about millennials. Their music sucks, as does their sense of fashion. And of course, they are all thin-skinned social media addicts who will beat you over the head with their identity politics should you dare to try and burst their bubble. Dealing in sweeping generalizations about any group of people isn't the smartest move, an obvious point. Thanks, Captain Obvious. What else you got? Well, let's talk personal experience. I've worked quite a few different jobs in various fields over the past almost 2 decades. Lab assistant, factory worker, car airbag warehouse goon, delivery service goon, office monkey, chemical plant operative, kitchen dog's body. I've been around, seen some things, met a few characters, worked with a few grizzled veterans, and worked with people younger than myself, 5, 10 or 15 years younger. There is a difference between, say, people now in their 50s and people 20 or 30 years their junior, socialised differently, different values. But saying that, sometimes the difference between individuals of a similar age group can be quite stark, given that some come from a more comfortable background than others. But people are people, unique, weird, disturbed, queer, strange. I've even met a few normies before, would you believe? Many of the younger folks I've known, they're not so much into politics, not particularly knowledgeable. I don't mean to sound uppity or condescending, just my experience. Some men and women are very much bound up in their own personal affairs, and they don't tend to look beyond their immediate circle. But that could be said equally, could be an equally true statement of baby boomers or Generation Xers, right? What did we see in the early 21st century? Terror attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. The US government of the day, led by Bush Jr. and Dick Cheney, pushed through the Patriot Act. Rage and the hunger for war was in the air. Of course, the war on terror followed, a war which continues to this day. A war that shifts from one battlefield to another, a war which could go on indefinitely. A war without end is a hawk's wet dream. So, parts of the world which were already unstable have been further destabilized by hostile actions, invasions, occupations, which has given rise to more and more violence and extremism, a sadly familiar picture. Millennials had to grow up in this new century. In 2007, 2008, the global financial crisis hit us, leading to an economic downturn, a debt crisis in Europe. The Great Recession is in our living memory, the worst worldwide recession since the Great Depression of the 1930s. So we saw economic contraction and an increase in unemployment worldwide, real estate, construction, financial services and retail all taken a big hit. If you were a millennial entering the workforce for the first time in the late 2000s, it must have been a pretty demoralizing atmosphere, an environment of decline. Businesses going bust and governments bailing out the bankers, and it was investment bankers' irresponsible behaviour which helped to spread the flames of this fire, let's not forget. Many younger people, from the beginning of the 21st century till the present day, here in the UK, will have been through higher education and will now have been straddled with thousands of pounds of crippling debt through tuition fees. And these same people, many of them, might find themselves unable to find the kind of work or start on the appropriate career path that their degrees might warrant. The labour market can be a volatile place. Just touching on a couple of other things, rising inequality is a big problem in this country, causing a wide range of negative social effects. And let's also consider how much things have changed culturally in the last 10 to 15 years with the rise of social media. A new generation of people living online, exposed in this way and that. A lot of pressure on younger people. Types of pressure or degrees of pressure which didn't exist for many in the past. So, life ain't all rainbows and chocolate waterfalls for the millennials.